Good evening. This is the No Restrictions Radio.
Well, I mean, that was very fitting since we are in the hood right now.
Hey, we're in the good zip code, okay?
Where
We didn't even use a sound box.
I'm dressed as a trap rapper.
That was just
right
his
now.
neighbors.
Studio G.
Tonight we're joined here by...
Did you producer?
That's Doug Judy, gentlemen, ladies and ladies.
Yeah, this is your boy Chris O.
And here's Kong.
Glad to see you all guys again.
Who are you?
Oh, I am your host, Solomon.
Oh,
Oh, now we know. All right, that's good.
I'm sorry.
I was about to say,
Look, I started the
Getting a
drinking a
little
little
aroused.
early. I'm sorry, okay? My bad. How you guys doing?
All right, man.
doing well.
Good.
I'm pretty hungry.
Waiting on the food.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
the food will be
someone
back.
didn't order Domino's early enough, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? We had some other stuff to take care of, so yeah.
I
But
mean, you had one job, Solomon. But
You're
it's all good.
right.
I forgive you.
I'm sorry. Pizza's on the way, so don't trip, guys.
All right, man. Let's get it.
Crystal, we're glad to have you back again.
Absolutely. I'm
Missed you
glad
last
to be
week.
back.
Gone last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out of time.
A lot of our viewers didn't know that, but you were back
Yeah.
there. Cog and I tried to hold it down.
We had a pretty
Pretend to
good,
be Chriso.
we had a
Oh
pretty good
my God.
imposter. He held it down for like a good 20 minutes.
Oh, man, I was getting that Chriso impression
he was
on
getting
point.
he was getting the Crystal on
Yeah.
point.
Wow, watch out.
Yeah, I'm hoping that y'all held it down for the folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to be back though.
So we got to talk about hip hop.
Okay. Right.
In fact, I think we may even have a special guest that we might be reaching out to shortly
Yeah.
because we never really got to finish that topic.
Push it and everything. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your friend that you're hitting up right now.
Actually, it's a dude I've been real cool with over the last 5-6 years on IG. He's actually real deep into hip hop himself, and we go back and forth on opinions and whatnot. And we share a lot of the same viewpoints, even though they may be unpopular to a lot of people. And he was like, man, I like the podcast and everything, so I wanted to call in. I actually got to call him now. My man's Ant. Let's see if I can get him real quick.
So his name's Ant.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Anthony, but we'll
Anthony.
you know,
Oh, okay.
we call him Ant for short. Let's see if we can get him today, man.
Are we?
Where is he from?
Ant, what's popping with it, man?
It's good, baby.
You already know. We calling we got you on air right now for the little podcast and whatnot. We on the hip hop subject. Y'all, everybody say what's up before we get into it.
What's going on, Anthony?
What's good, Ant?
What's up, baby?
How you doing, bro?
Who am I speaking with? Y'all know my name. What's your name?
So I'm at the real Doug Judy on Instagram.
Don't-
He's not joking.
That's my actual handle.
He has two
That
first
was-
names.
That's his whole first name, Doug Judy.
Why y'all always laugh at that?
You'll see some pictures of him later, bro.
It was a pleasure having you on the show, man.
Nice having you on,
Appreciate
man.
it. Appreciate
And
it.
we got two others on.
Go
too.
ahead. I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name's Solomon. I have a different Instagram name account. I'll tell you that later.
Yeah.
And then I'm Kong.
This the one that be, I told you he was the one that was going.
Yeah, I heard you want to fire some shots at me.
No shots fired. I don't want you to get sensitive like Drake.
Hey, it's okay. I got thick skin. We can go through this.
Well, there we go.
Hey.
There it is. Like I said, my man Ant is not coming to play no games. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just ask you, man, to let you take it away, right? So,
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you got to see the, the shop with Drake and LeBron and Maverick,
Right.
right? So I just want to know what's your opinion on that before we even let anybody at the table speak. What was your opinion on that whole breakdown?
You know what? I actually saw the shop after I listened to the podcast.
The Pusha
one
part,
featuring.
right.
Yeah. Drake. It's funny. Drake and LeBron are both. I will say they're good at their craft, but they're both very seasoned when it comes to public relations.
Okay.
So I felt that there was a lot of butt kissing, and it wasn't a lot of the truth being told. I felt like it was very limited. I felt like they weren't really digging into anything. It
Right.
was more so like what happened, and then he's just throwing them alley-oops for soft responses.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, that's how I felt. Now I'm saying that because I heard the podcast beforehand.
Right.
And Push wanted to talk about everything.
Right.
And he had no problem with it. He said we could talk about whatever we want because it's not going to come back to me in any type of way. They got nothing on me.
Right.
We could discuss everything. And he, obviously they discussed everything. It was 3 hours long.
Right.
So you're talking about the what is it called? The table?
Yeah.
The table was what? I mean, that segment wasn't really that long.
20 minutes, 30 minutes, if that.
If that. They didn't really touch on anything. It was a lot of softball passes and and then him responding like that. Like I said, I got a little bit of respect for what they do, but I think that they're both very good at giving look at LeBron on his interviews, post interviews, whatever you want to call it. He responds the same way every single time. And I didn't get that. I didn't get what I really wanted from the table interview.
So, with you saying that now, I just want to open that up, right? We're going to segue right on into it with my man's Kane, because he was very opinionated. Does that not show clearly who is a top-tier individual, period? If we're not talking about sales, we're just talking about MCs and who actually is true to the craft. With everything that's been said and done, has Drake not been discredited?
Oh, very much so.
Okay.
That's my
So,
opinion.
okay, so let me put this out in the open. I'm not
Okay,
saying what Drake did in the spirit of hip hop was necessarily right. Okay, I think even LeBron touched on that a little bit as well. As someone who loves hip hop, you want Drake to respond, right? You want to see that beef going. But what I'm saying is, my whole thing is, I see what Drake is trying to do, whether it be true or not, from a business point of view. And I see what Pusha T is doing on a business point of view as well, right? Drake already knows I'm already on top. Why give someone I don't like any more publicity?
But how is he giving him more publicity? See, go ahead. I'm not gonna say it. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on. I'm not finished yet. Whereas you just said it yourself, Pusha T.
I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
But Beyonce got the best. No, but what I'm saying is, I respect Pusha T's hustle when it comes to all this, right? Because how many months have passed since then?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. But Pusha T is still wanting to talk about it.
No. See, we're not gonna run with that narrative because
Please don't.
that was not the case. When this happened, he dropped the diss song and waited for Drake to respond.
No. I already know his PR team and behind the scenes is talking about, you got to talk about this because people are still wanting to hear from you.
But how is that the case when, if you listen to the podcast, that's why I said you want to listen to it before you jump on this. He said, I said nothing. And if we sit back, Drake is the one who reignited this whole situation, bro. Pusha has said nothing after. So
but what I'm saying is, Drake had that little soft interview. I get it. He didn't want to release too much information. But what I'm saying is, you can't say Pusha T is not chasing after that as well. Because if he really didn't want to talk about it, he was like, no, I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to answer that question. Let's just move on. But the fact he's talking about it, it's a good business move.
Why wouldn't he want to talk about it? This was a very real situation.
right.
And I'm sorry, but did you hear the podcast?
I heard bits and pieces. What I got out of it was, I didn't know he had 40% of Arby's.
You got Drake's team going to Virginia for $100,000 trying to bring up dirt on Pusha T.
Thank you.
$100,000? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Thank you.
I'm gonna talk about whatever I want to talk about, and the fact that he's such a lame, and the fact that he couldn't even get information because there was no information to get, and they got recordings. Oh my God, they got recordings. We can go forever with this.
We could.
I'm sorry.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Right? I get what you're saying, but I think you're looking at it at the point of view that I'm backing Drake 100% on this. I'm not backing Drake 100% on this.
Wait, what about 40? Come on, I don't want to. Oh my God, I'm about to kill myself like Drake.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about here. So I think Chriso and yourself is getting confused on what stance I'm taking on here. Okay. I'm not backing Drake up on what he did, what he's doing, whatever. What I'm talking about is a pure business move he's making, and I get why Pusha T is doing it as well. Right? But think about it. How many people are torn between this conversation right now?
A good grip.
A good grip. A lot of people are saying no, Drake did what he did, it was right. The other side is saying no, Pusha T murder this guy. That's great for Pusha T and Drake. Right? Drake wants to limit as much of an L he can get. Right? I agree with you. He took an L on that. He did take an L. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he won in any kind of way. I'm saying he lost in the spirit of hip hop. But what I'm saying is, if you keep bringing it up, if you personally keep bringing it up, right? You keep reopening that wound yourself. That's what do you think the president does? It's not just our president right now, past presidents. Whenever they take an L, they have their advisors speak for them. They have people who work for them speak for them. You will never hear them directly say, yeah, you got me.
Okay, and I'm not gonna hold you. I'm just gonna say this, right? If we talk about business, see, this is why I'm like, yo, Drake is falling on his own sword. Because when he released Back to Back, that originally was a free song. And then he put it on iTunes and got, I think almost nominated for a Grammy. So he took the beef when he felt he had the upper hand and went for it on business. But now that he has taken an L, it's not good for business.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say nothing else.
Snap, boy.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
It was fun. I mean, come on.
Really? Because his album's still doing great.
Let's take
His
it
album's
further.
still doing great.
When,
His numbers speak for itself.
man, when he was beefing with Meek, and since it was such a business thing, since he couldn't respond to this one, when he was beefing with Meek and it was on his side, this guy he took trolling to a whole nother level.
Right.
He took all the thousands of memes that he had and put it on the back screen of his concert.
Because he won that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying.
Oh my God.
I don't understand why are you guys so heated about this?
Clearly, Colin, you're
Beef is
frustrating
beef.
our guest.
No, beef is beef. That's what I'm telling you.
That's what I'm exactly saying as well.
So you're picking and choosing which ones you want to
No,
go
I'm
into.
not.
Hey, you know what?
picking
Hey, you know
here.
what I'm thinking of right now that just popped in my head, Ant? We should all pitch in, buy one of those old Wendy's shirts. Where's the beef? And just send it out to Drake. Just send it out to
No,
Drake.
come on, dog. When Meek Drake was sitting there, he was sitting on Instagram. You know how light-skinned dudes be laughing about stuff. Oh my God,
When you're winning, all I'm saying is when you're winning, you're gonna keep spouting things. Right? That's obviously what he did with the Meek Mill bit. What I'm saying is he knows he took that L. Drake, no, I'm not saying he didn't lose here. I'm agreeing with you. He lost. What his team doing is stupid. But what I'm telling you right now is when you're losing, you don't talk about it. You just simply don't talk about it.
But he talked about it.
Once.
He definitely talked about it.
Once. How many times do you think Pusha T talked about it? I'm pretty sure if I type in Pusha T interview, I'm going to see at least 10 different results.
Okay. So, okay.
Look,
So,
I'm agreeing with you. What Drake should have done is he should have responded. Right? I'm a hip hop head. I want him to respond. I wanted to see that move. What I'm saying is, I can also see playing devil's advocate why he did what he did. Now, what he said on the interview, is that true? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not.
They baby this guy so much, and I don't understand. In the terms of in the beefing world, I've never seen this before.
Ever.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying in the beefing world, he should have done what he
Drake,
should have done.
When it's with Drake, it's hey, no, I get it. Hey, I mean, if he had a fire response, well, it's not worth it. Forget it. I get it. It's beef, but listen, this is going too far. I know 40 was the one who told Camp about the baby. And
That's probably why he didn't respond, because he knew he was going to lose.
Man,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you one bit. But the thing is, people don't want to talk about the reason why he did, and it's because it sounds like you're justifying. I'm not justifying what Drake did. I'm not justifying what his team did. But I'm saying I understand why he did it. Because he lost. He knew he lost. There's nothing he can do about it. And he probably knew whatever response he was going to come up wasn't as good as Pusha T.
Okay, so that's you know what? And look, my brother, I want to say first and foremost, I think I speak on everybody's behalf when I say I'm glad that you called in. Right? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. I appreciate the love you show and the support you show toward the podcast. You know what I mean? And you might have to call in again, my G, because it's
nothing. It's only a phone call.
Yeah, because this is. And where you calling in from, man? So everybody know.
I'm in Maryland, DMV areas.
Shout out to
DC,
Maryland.
Virginia.
Yo, shout out to
Love
everybody
Maryland,
out there,
man.
man. I appreciate that. And just if we can continue to get support from out there, we appreciate y'all. And,
Yep.
and hey, for real, thank you. I appreciate
Gotcha,
that, my
man.
man.
Thank you,
We
bro.
appreciate your opinion, but your opinion's wrong.
All right.
I'm messing with you,
I
bro.
don't want to hear about this ever again.
All
All
right.
right, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, my G, I will holler at you. Thank you, my brother.
All right, y'all have a good night, y'all.
You too,
All right,
man.
man. Thank you.
All right, well.
Thank you.
But no, for real though, I didn't know he owned like 40% of that
Arby's.
jingle.
Yeah.
Who owns 40%?
Pusha T.
T's, the advertisement.
He owns
he
Arby's.
takes 40. No, he doesn't own it. He takes 40% of that commercial.
Yeah, because he wrote the jingle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got where's the beef one or which one?
He also did McDonald's apparently.
What? Okay.
He didn't get a percentage of that. He got like a $500,000 lump sum. But I didn't know he makes jingles.
Dude, that reminds me. So, have you guys ever seen 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
That was Charlie Sheen. He
Yeah,
made
exactly.
jingles. Yeah. You make a good living off of jingles. I'll tell you what.
Oh man.
So I don't know where Solomon went, but I know our next topic is about current events, and there's a lot of them going on. So Kong, why don't you start off with us? You know, you were talking about the Washington Post writer who was murdered. I think
How do you pronounce?
Khashoggi. I don't know.
Yeah, I always butcher
I
that
always
name.
butcher it. So forgive us for failing on the name at some point, but what's the latest on that? What have you
Oh
been...
man, I mean, mind you, I'm not an expert on this.
Yeah, nor is any of us.
I just see bits and pieces on the news that I troll on Reddit and things like that. But what really got me was the Crown Prince who ordered that hit.
Yeah.
Had a photo shoot.
So it's been asserted.
Right. Had a photo shoot with
His
the
son?
grieving family's son.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I was like, oh man, that is. You can clearly see the look on his face that he is disgusted to be there. But it's almost like forced propaganda. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Would I kill someone's father who I take a picture with? Of course.
And they were breaking down the I guess the double who went out of the embassy or the consulate. The guy had hair. Like whoever's job was to or like orchestrate, like, all right, you're the double who's gonna walk out of the embassy and make it look like you're the real person.
You had one job.
You had one job. The guy was bald, and they got someone who had a full head of hair almost. How do you not? All right, well,
Politics
awesome.
continue to disappoint all of us. Point blank, period.
I don't even know if that's political, like when you're royalty, right?
I don't know.
You can just
It's more,
do whatever you want.
yeah.
And on a sadder, well, I mean that's
Yeah.
sad enough as well. But even continuing on this sad note, unfortunately, we're still seeing a string of mass shootings occurring. Most recently, the one
Jeez,
at the
man.
synagogue. I think what was it, yesterday or Friday? I believe yesterday though.
Yesterday morning.
I believe 11 were killed, and
that's
they're
unfortunate.
actually looking at it as a hate crime.
Yeah, I think the guy said, "What? All Jews must die."
It's something like that, and
Yeah.
he
Did
had
he make
been.
some kind of
He has
social media
made.
post?
He has
Yeah, I
made
think so.
several I believe Semitic. I think that's how you pronounce it, anti-Semitic, or derogatory posts or comments about the Jewish people. And so they are looking into this as a hate crime, which is kind of unique in the sense that I think it gives the federal government the allowance to look into this case and prosecute, instead of states usually will analyze murders and crimes of that sort, as opposed to the federal government. But now you have the federal government looking at it, considering it a hate crime, which obviously most people passes that test. I mean, if this guy's clearly made derogatory
Right.
comments in the
Oh,
past
man.
about
Yeah.
that race.
You know what's crazy to me, man? Not even to cut you off, my guy. Is just
No, you're good.
I don't understand how it's not caught. For example, like my man that did the school shooting, I forgot, even though I shouldn't have.
That was the other one we were gonna. I think there were 2 killed, right?
Yeah.
Was this like within the week? Yeah.
No, not even that
Oh,
one. I'm
okay.
talking about the one that. was
Sandy
over-
Hook.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook.
Or,
Okay.
no, who's the one where the kid is there?
Oh,
it was
in
this
Florida.
year. Yeah.
In Florida. Oh,
Him.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
So, if y'all
Yeah, he
know
definitely made some comments.
He
on,
made some comments on YouTube, bro.
yeah.
He said it so it's crazy that people are actually saying this stuff ahead of time and nobody's catching it.
Yeah.
And 40, 50, 60, however many people gotta die, you feel me, before people is like, oh man, like, bruh, I don't know, man. Like with all the tech they got right now, to check and watch people. How is it that somebody could put something on YouTube months, years before, pull it off, and nobody knew?
Well, you know, I think I believe it was reported, and I can't remember if the cops followed up on it or if they just deemed it as.
He was on their watch list for a while.
Yeah. So, I think it hits at a bigger social issue. Like it was funny. I was on my iPhone the other day, and I forget what I was on. And all of a sudden, an ad for a new app popped up, and it was like the shooter app, and like the shooter was shooting into a crowd. I was like, what the heck? Why is this a game? And then the next one, he was like actually shooting like somebody in the military, so it may have seemed more like war oriented. Not saying that that's a good thing either, but you know, there's always been, I guess most people would say, a level of, you know, gun violence in wars, probably a little bit more, I don't even want to say accepted, but more logical that would happen. But I don't know if society is feeding into these darkest areas of the human mind by having shows or enabling certain websites to, you know,
Imitate.
to imitate and also perpetuate, you know, the feelings of hatred. I think that's the problem. You know, it's funny. Of all the people I was watching, Jim Jeffries and what's his name? They're two comedians. Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
So the two people I find least likely in my life to ever get solid advice from, or even to give solid, you know.
Hey, Bill Burr has some excellent advice.
Yes. All right, I'm telling you. So he was talking about, you know, Jim Jeffries was, and Bill Burr's commented on this in the past. The internet has become something where, like, if you have this weird certain ideology or, you know, whatever, you can, you know, before you were an outcast, you were like the weirdo. Now you can go on the internet and find a community of people that want to be evil or people that think this way or that way.
Dark web.
Yeah, it's and it feeds their desires to do something like that.
Well, it's an endless resource.
It is.
So if you have that, if you demented idea of killing somebody, for example, how many times do they find in their search history how to bury the body or
how to make
things
a
like that?
stuff like that, yeah.
You know what's funny? I watched this documentary on the guy who wrote the Anarchist Cookbook, and he totally regrets having written it. But what was interesting about that movie is he didn't even know the impact that had on people. Like even Islamic terrorist groups, they were talking to him. You know, they said, "Did you know that the person that committed this terror attack, you know, in this Islamic terrorist group, just as one example, had purchased the Anarchist Cookbook?" And he said, "No, I had no idea." So. And my point with that is that people, when they post things or they say things that they end up even maybe changing their minds on as they mature, that can have lasting impact on other people who don't ever, I don't want to say necessarily mature, but ever reorient their thinking outside of what they're seeing in a post of similar people like them.
Right.
It's scary, and I don't know how you combat that, because you also want to have the ability to express yourself, even if, you know, like you, Kong, right? Your opinion of Drake is completely unpopular. But if we just start, you know, saying, nope, Pusha T clearly won that, you can't talk about Drake and with respect.
Right. So how much censorship is the fine line of crossing into my personal freedom? Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. But where is the fine line?
I don't know.
You know, because that goes into the whole debate of.
And then, do you
control.
monitor people if they say a certain thing on Facebook, or if they, you know, post on this website, post on that website?
They could end up on a watch list, but I don't think they can like be impeded on what they can say on. You know?
Yeah.
It gets to the point where all of these laws and amendments that people have to get around stuff start to backfire, because you say things that could be ridiculously inhumane, and they say, but it's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And I'm protected by such and such amendment. So, I mean, look, man, government is, I mean, we all can see the government is falling on itself, you know, the point blank period.
And I think most people, and this is, I don't think this is this is where people would have to be professional if they were investigating this. Like, you can tell the difference between people who are, speaking, out, like not speaking their true thoughts, just trying to get a reaction out of somebody.
Like an
For
Alex
instance,
Jones.
like like Slipknot.
They're all actors.
No, like Slipknot, right? Slipknot, their first several albums had like, very graphic lyrics and evil content, and several other bands like Cannibal Corpse. I mean, they talk about like murders and stuff like that. But what's kind of weird about those guys, like all the lead singer talks about is like video games and his daughter, and where I'm going with this is clearly there's a difference between storytelling or making a joke to get a reaction, which is hard to tell at times, the joking part, but you can oftentimes tell when someone's being sincere about radical views.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, like, you're kind of radical right now. You keep making comments about this race or about that. I'm like, dude, I think you're starting to believe it. I don't think you're just making a joke, or I don't think you're just, saying something to get a reaction out of people because you're that guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to police, though.
That's true. I mean, there are some common sense laws, like you can't scream fire in the middle of a movie theater, for example.
Or bomb at the airport.
Or you can't, even as a student, your free speech is governed by a school board or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and freeness of a speech doesn't extend to obscenity or I don't even know the other one too.
Where's that incite like violence and stuff?
Probably.
Like that.
Right. But I don't know. I don't know how this can go, because I constantly think about the violence in schools. Cause I work at a school.
Yeah, you work at a school.
So you always wonder, like, if someone were to come in here and they really wanted to hurt somebody, I mean, who am I to stop them?
Wait.
Well, no, I mean, for real, I lock some students into my classroom, but they shoot the door down. I'm only a guy, so they shoot me, and what happens
Oh,
then?
I see what you mean, yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not offering the kids for that. I'm like, oh, please take that instead.
Who am I? Yeah, pardon me. I don't want to get in the way of this. Yeah, okay, good.
Let me get out your way.
We constantly have to clarify what you mean on things.
Yeah, because you don't never know. Sometimes he really do mean the stuff he say.
Yeah,
he ain't be thinking like nobody gonna catch it. That's the funny part. Go ahead with your bad self.
In other news, just real brief, the stock market had another crazy week. Has been down quite a bit. Mostly what's considered a correction. So corrections when the price of most stocks, could just say the stock market in general, decreases by 10% off of its most recent highs, which it has, almost, I think, negating all the gains it had made throughout the whole year up to this point now. What should someone do? I would say keep your money, and if you have the ability to, invest more at this point. Psychologically, most people would want to pull back when they see a drop.
Yeah.
But what happens when they do that is they limit what they have gained in the stock market, as opposed to if they continue holding on, even if it drops further, as long as they don't sell it, they don't realize, a loss or a reduction in their gain. So hold on. From the looks of it, there's nothing intrinsic that seems to cause panic, right? I think
a lot of people are panicking, though. I think everyone has that idea of, it's a 7-year, we're past due.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
And so I think that feeds into, you're exactly right. I think that's been feeding into the fear. Plus it's October, so there's a lot of automation for selling at this point, and tax planning, to sell, some of the losses or even gains. So that factors in, but it just doesn't feel like 2007, 2008, where things were just going up because things were just going up. Things have been going up for a reason. Huge reductions in tax rates, companies outperforming what analysts have expected of them and so forth, those are legitimate reasons for stocks to increase. So I would say stay put, America. You heard it here from Doug Judy.
Well, if you crash and burn, you know who to blame as well.
Yeah. Call her.
So, quick question. So going back to the whole issue in Saudi Arabia with that murder of that journalist, has there been any effect in the stock market when it comes to that?
Yeah, there has been.
Like explicit effect?
Yeah, I think it's just more of a generalized effect with, and that one's kind of unique because that wasn't, driven by the administration. What I mean by that is that event happened outside of the administration's influence, as opposed to tariffs, where they keep going tit for tat with China on tariffs, and that's making the market concerned about the future of the performance of their stocks. Because if a lot of the companies they invest in now have to pay more taxes to get goods from other countries, well, obviously that's going to eat into profits, and that's a very real thing. This now kind of opens the door of, is the U.S. going to respond to Saudi Arabia by not doing as much business with them? If they don't do as much business with them, if they put certain individuals or certain companies now on the OFAC list, the Office of Foreign Asset Control, that means that less companies can do business with individuals or companies in that country, which will also probably limit what they're going to be.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Nothing's going to happen.
So it's it's
too much going on.
It's all kind of guessing, and that's all the stock market is. It's a lot of people guessing until there's actual proof.
Because I've been reading that there's a lot of pressure for President Trump to take some kind of action against Saudi Arabia with like some kind of minor sanction, but I think in general it would not be the best interest for them to do that. I mean, as bad as it happens, right?
Who knows? I mean,
true. You never know, but
there's gonna be no implications, at least from America's side.
No.
Especially with that new $110 billion military contract they have with Saudi Arabia.
I think if anything, maybe that would give the U.S. some leverage over Saudi Arabia because of that. Like, it's only 110 million.
But at the same time, Saudi Arabia, like, all right, then I'll buy from your competitors.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think, if anything, it's going to be
nothing.
They're going to say they're going to put them under more scrutiny. They might have a third-party investigation going on, if that hadn't already happened.
Just to appeal to the public.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It may not really mean anything deep inside, but oh, interesting. Cool. So next, the game.
Oh, the game.
The game, gentlemen. How to break up.
Christo. You were talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
But you know what, man?
Pretend they don't exist.
Nah, let me keep it all the way 1,000. I done did a lot of things before I went ahead and tried to get my life situated.
Oh, dude, was that a Joyner Lucas lyric that you just dropped there? I done did a lot of things.
Oh, wow, this guy. Nah, you know what, man? Nah, it's a couple ways now. It's the right way to do it and the way you decide to do it, right? So the right way to do it would be, sit down and try to have a civilized conversation. Give them the, decency of going.
Tell them your name is Jeff. My name's Jeff.
But the way that I decided to, I was extra rude, man. I just like, hey, shorty, I'm not trying to talk to you. Like, this ain't gonna work. And just kind of be real abrupt and straight to the chase. Now, is that the correct way for all my young gentlemen that are coming up?
I think so.
No, you want to be very dignified and respectful. And even if you're a cut to the chase kind of person.
No, tell them it's over. You don't want to leave them on with any.
I don't think. I think he's saying that, but he's saying you can do that.
In a dignified way.
There is no dignified way of breaking up with someone.
There is a dignified way, bruh. See, that's the wrong guy.
If the person loves you and you're breaking up with them, you just shatter their entire world. There is no dignified way.
That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kong speaking.
So Kong,
right? That ain't Chris.
Kong probably. This is probably how the conversation with Kong goes.
Yeah.
Look. Let's be honest. In the game of love, there's leagues. Let's just say you're in the G League. And I'm the starting five on the Warriors. Okay?
Okay.
This clearly won't work.
On the bench.
That's too much analogy.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna analyze you for the next couple of years. Hopefully you make it up there, and if you do, then we'll talk.
Even with that, you give them the hope of there's a potential what if. So it's just no. It's over.
This dude's cruel, man.
Yeah, he's out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like
I would say, like I've never broken up correctly. I haven't had many breakups, but each time I did it terribly.
To be honest with you.
Like one was over text. The other was just like tremendously abrupt, and my reason was so stupid. I was like, because I just can't be in a committed relationship right now. And then the following week, I was in a new relationship.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, I would say if you're gonna break up, be honest, even if it's brutal, but be dignified. You know, like how Christo said though. Like for instance, what do I mean by that? If you are breaking up with a lady, you just tell her, hey, I want to be honest. I feel like
your breath stank.
No. I feel like I don't want to, pursue this relationship any further.
Your eyebrows don't match.
You don't have to go insulting people's, idiosyncrasies. I know.
No, Connor will.
I do agree with not leaving hope too, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're like on that border of like kind of hot. Well, it may move into super hot, and you want to like reserve that for like the next couple of years. But like, in general, you don't want to.
Look, if you're breaking up because you're just not feeling that person anymore, or you guys, it just isn't working for you. Yeah, don't leave the person with any hope.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're breaking up and it's mutually, I guess, it's a mutually understanding that maybe you might revisit it. Yeah, sure, leave that hope. But for the most part, if you're breaking up with someone, you know why.
Yeah.
And people don't typically change too much, so don't leave hope. And I'm saying this because I was on the receiving end of that.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Right.
That's fair enough.
Right, then that's solid.
Like I've been
because women do that a lot.
Right, exactly.
Women do that a lot.
Like you can be my friend. No, we're not going to be friends.
Yeah.
Stop. Don't lie to me.
It's just right now is not the right time.
Or I've been in a relationship where it's like you're on again, off again, on again, and it's just too much of a roller coaster
waste,
for me.
Bro.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like the consensus for breaking up is
you punch that girl in the throat.
Oh no,
dude! What is wrong with you, man?
No,
metaphorically.
No,
bro. Why'd you wait so long to say metaphorically, man?
That's what I'm saying.
Why don't you precede your words with metaphorically?
No,
we do not
you have to say that and have a long pause.
Abuse to women.
This dude is
in any way, shape, or form.
Metaphorically.
No.
You punch that girl in the throat.
No.
Metaphorically. You don't do it physically. You don't want to be an abuser. But what I'm saying is...
All right, dude. All right.
He's been cut.
Moving on.
Okay.
Moving on. How do you make up? So now in committed relationships...
Right, okay.
Oftentimes you'll have a fight with a girl. How do you make up?
You don't.
Do you wait for them? Do you wait for them to initiate, like saying, hey, I'm sorry? Or do you initiate, hey, I'm sorry?
You know what?
Or is it circumstantial? It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends.
What relationship status is this? Are we married?
Either or. Explain. All right. If there's differences, explain both.
There ain't no difference, bro. Check this out. I'm gonna just keep it all the way a buck with you.
A buck.
When it comes to women,
he talking Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh my
He's
God.
He's keeping it a buck, bro.
Antetokounmpo.
I think before you all comment, you should preface that you're all married and state how many years.
Okay.
50.
No, dude, you have not been married 50 years, bro.
50
Oh, man.
years, bro.
Dude, you're 20 what?
Okay, 50 years. Listen to this man.
6?
He's about to say something.
He was married before he was out the womb.
You feel me? So look, like I'm saying though, when it comes to relationships and things of that nature, I am awful at saying sorry. And actually, no, I take it back. My communication, like I'll be wanting to say sorry, but it's like I don't know how to initiate this. So typically, and I think I speak for a lot of men, we don't know how to communicate certain things, even if you feel it. Unlike this gentleman sitting next to me by the name of Kong. He just is a brute. But I'm playing. Nah, you know what, man? It a lot of times as men, you have to bite your pride and just apologize. That's just point blank, period. And then I will say on top of that, oh yeah, it did rhyme, huh? Low key. I got some flow, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
But nah, I just think
Get
that
him on Sway 45.
oh, so and sometimes too, depending on the woman, because women know when they're wrong, and sometimes they'll say, you know what, my bad. I admit I was wrong. So it's just a circumstance, in my opinion. It really is a circumstance. And how hard is it for somebody to let their ego and their pride step aside and admit that you're wrong? Because typically, whether you're a man or a woman, old or young, that typically is a problem. Who wants to admit they was wrong, right? So that's all I'm gonna say.
Do you want to take this, Doug Judy, or?
I'm sure I'll chime in before Kong says something really
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think it's super circumstantial. I'd say, at least in my relationship, I think 7, maybe 6 or 7 of 10 times, usually I hold off on apologizing and wait for my wife to do it first. Because a lot of times she initiates the argument whether she knows it or not. You know, she's
So
she's
the throat
no. She's very feisty. But at times too, and I think this is something that all men should really evaluate themselves on, is when your significant other or your girlfriend brings something up about you, right? They say, "Hey, you don't do this or you don't do that, or this is how you make me feel." I quickly go, "Well, you do this, this, and that," because I think like that's how a lot of times we as men think. Like, okay, you shot at me with this, but I got this, this, and this. And then you have to step back and just say, all right, let me be introspective. Was I rude in that interaction? Or was I inconsiderate? And I mean, quite a few times I've realized, like, yeah, I was pretty hungry and I was on edge, so I just shouted for no reason or got mad because I was hungry. Yeah, exactly. Or just stupid things like that. And then you know, after you eat, hey, I'm sorry, dude. That was totally my fault. And I've had several occasions like that. But I think over time, as you have a relationship with someone, you'll know when you're in the right most of the times. Sometimes you really need to still step back and be introspective, but you'll know when you're in the right, and you'll know when the other person's in the wrong. And I don't think you should apologize when someone else is in the wrong. I feel like that's encouraging or incentivizing bad behavior. I really do. Even with my kid, you know, and even in, you know, a relationship of that sorts. You don't want to say, hey, I'm sorry, but your significant other was the one yelling or starting a fight or picking on you about something that you know is sensitive to you. That's unacceptable. And you should never apologize for that, even if you reacted negatively to a certain extent. I'm not talking about if you reacted to a crazy extent, but if you reacted normally, if someone says something mean to you and you say something mean back, that's how most people react, right?
Right.
I'm not saying you don't apologize for that. You should not be the one to apologize first, in my opinion.
So I agree with you. I just think a lot of it is, I guess, different when it comes to my circumstances. So for example, if my wife obviously started something, it was her fault. I like to just pick and choose my battles. You know what I mean? If it's something small over, we started arguing over what we wanted to eat, for example. I'm not gonna build up into that later. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize, even if it was her fault, right? But I'm very stubborn as well. I think.
Oh, he admitted it.
No, I know I'm stubborn, and I'm proud of that. I'm stubborn because that's who I am. So I'm a firm believer of what you said. You gotta stick to your guns, you know, on certain things. If it's something fundamental to you and to your what you believe in and how you raise your family and or lead your family, I'm sticking to my guns. Because at the end of the day, she knows that I compromise on her behalf on certain things, but things that are fundamental to me, she needs to compromise for me as well.
That's a fair assessment too. Now that we got the mood kind of set in here,
my God.
I think Solomon just turned out all the lights and left like 3.
Don't even say it. No.
Okay.
No. My mind's telling me no.
Oh my God.
You have 3 little.
I just want y'all to understand.
Telling me yeah.
I don't be playing games like this. You know what I'm saying? It's only when I'm with them that stuff like this happens.
I don't want to hurt nobody, but there was something that I must confess.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
He started it.
Okay.
All right.
Didn't you talk about that earlier?
All right. Moving on. We got just a few more topics, America, to chat about before we let you all enjoy the rest of the week. We wanted to talk about Kong. We call him AKA the hate dog.
Yo, he finds.
This dude is so negative sometimes.
Negative. You could say, man, it's a beautiful day
He's a happy day.
No,
I mean, he's
not.
a happy guy, but like super negative
About everything.
Like he's always smiling, but he's like, this porch really sucks.
Or it'll be a rainbow. The rainbow's ugly. You know what that symbolizes?
I believe in making the best out of your situation, but I'm also a realist. So if you're in a crappy situation, it's a crappy situation no matter how you look at it.
No.
But you make the best out of it.
But that's the thing. He's being a hypocrite right now because Cuz don't make the best out of no situation at all.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy.
No.
I think I'm a happy-go-lucky guy.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy when he's dogging somebody else out. Let's just keep it all the way at 1,000. He likes bagging on everybody. That's what makes
That's
him
not
happy.
true. I
No, you do.
I easily find the flaws in things. That's one of my flaws. I do find flaws, right?
That can be a good thing sometimes.
But I also know that because I do that, I try to make the best of everything. So if I'm in a comfortable situation where I can express my opinion, then you're going to hear those flaws. But if not, just re-roll with the punches.
Nah, bro.
Sometimes it can be a good thing to see the flaws, because you do need that scrutiny sometimes.
I think it's because I've always been grown up in an entrepreneurial family, so we're always very skeptical of things. So a deal comes our way, we're very skeptical about it. We always look for the flaws in the plan or the business deal, but then we also look at what can we use in that situation to our advantage. So yeah, you see the flaws, but you also see the advantage of things. So you just, like I said, you make the best of what you got.
No,
Doug, all right, America. Doug Judy is free TikTok because all the pepperoni pizza's gone.
all the pepperoni pizza and the chicken wings.
Oh, they're all gone?
They're all gone, bro.
I wish y'all could have seen his
Okay,
face.
Come on, man.
I took most of the chicken wings. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on, man. How you gonna take all of them, man? There's 4 people here.
No, I didn't take all of them.
I took
No,
I
I
took a
know
good
you
majority.
too. I'm looking at you two. Did you have some?
I didn't have anything.
I know you didn't have any. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't have anything.
Hey, don't
No.
Yeah, Kong, you were getting up a lot.
These dudes, man. All right, moving on. I'm done.
I'm pulling
All right, we gotta finish this up. We gotta talk about sports because America's been waiting.
Lord, yeah. All I'm gonna say is this about sports. I gotta get this off my chest before I forget it. All the teams that should not be losing right now is getting dogged.
Yeah.
And all the teams that should not be winning right now are at the top. I know this is very early in the basketball season, but when Detroit is going on a 4-0, you feel me?
Blake dropping 50.
Blake dropping 50. OKC has yet to win a game. The Rockets have
They
only
win
won
this?
twice.
Thunder win this right now?
No, they have not won a game yet.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Lakers won a game.
Lakers, I mean, come on, bro. Like,
I'm just saying in comparison to OKC.
only
that's
team that is doing what we thought they would do is freaking Golden
it.
State.
Warriors, yeah.
That's it.
Raptors are pretty hot.
Okay, Raptors. Okay.
Pretty good.
Who do Raptors have now? Do they have
Leonard.
They have
Kawhi,
Leonard?
Kawhi and Green.
Who else?
Danny Green.
Danny Green. Okay.
Yeah.
What about who has Tony Parker right now? I saw him on
Hornets.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Are they garbage, really?
I mean, it.
Yeah.
That tripped me
right.
up, man. I was like, what?
He should have retired.
I know. Why
It's
would you
like,
go
why
to a
would you
different
go?
team?
Yeah, dude. It's like, just wrap it up. I mean, your
Let it
boy.
go.
I mean, Ginobili retired the
Yeah.
same year. He got
Yeah.
traded, right?
I
Was he
don't-
traded or did he just sign?
I don't know. I think he retired. I don't know how.
Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I was actually watching highlights of the Spurs Lakers game. It just looks so weird. Like,
Yeah.
LeBron is a Laker, and none of the big three are there in San Antonio anymore. And I guess we're looking at some funny. Oh, wow, that's good stuff. That's going on our page.
No,
No, that's gonna be
You guys want to talk about me hating? Chris has this look about he just constantly hates life. He has that look on his face at all times.
Dude, Christo does look upset most of the time.
His look is, if you see his pictures on Instagram, it's all about, it looks like he's trying not to sneeze. You know when you're trying to frown and snarl because you're trying to sneeze? That's the look that Chris has 24/7.
Bruh, he's gassing y'all up.
Dude, I've never seen Christo
Hey,
smile in a
it's-
picture.
the
In a
proof is in the
picture. I've
pudding,
seen him
bro.
smile in real life, but never in a picture.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding. Just look at his Instagram.
True, yeah. Follow his Instagram.
Dude's never smiled.
Bruh, I do smile.
He smirks.
You do. Not
the
in photos.
day he smiles.
though. Not in photos. Not in photos.
Even when he laughs, it's like a frown, and he just ha 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 ha.
Oh, that's a lie.
That's true though.
Oh my god.
He has a frown while he laughs.
Yeah.
So making himself a serial killer. Anyway.
All right. So what about Tyronn Lue? Speaking of serial
Oh
killers,
my god. Yo,
Tyronn Lue got slayed.
Got
What?
fired. Cavs are 0-6. we clearly see that whole time.
I thought they were going to win it. I thought they were going to go to the championship again.
Hey,
good.
Tristan Thompson was like, guarantee we still on top, man.
Tristan Thompson?
Yeah,
He's going through the Kardashian curse right now.
That dude. Oh, my gosh, man.
You know, if anyone else had said something about the Cavs being like still the team to beat, like Kevin Love, okay, it wouldn't be laughable coming out of Kevin Love. But I mean, Tristan Thompson, what isn't he averaging like 5 boards and like a point and a half in the season or something like that?
Oh, geez.
It was kind of ridiculous. No, the previous year. So it was like, how you gonna say we're still the team to beat in the East? But like, dude, like you getting bodied by Draymond, you know? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, Draymond's a pretty decent player.
He's 6'5".
He's not 6'5",
6'6", maybe.
He's 6'8".
No, he's not.
He is.
You know, when I
Draymond's
first saw
6'8",
Draymond,
bro.
I thought he was
No.
like a more aggressive Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah,
When I first saw him.
basically.
Baby Perkins.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
More aggressive. Kendrick Perkins is pretty aggressive at times.
He can be.
Yeah.
Until he's crying.
I think Kendrick was just lazy.
So what do y'all make of Tyronn Lue being dismissed
I mean,
as head coach?
It shows that LeBron made that team.
yeah, it showed that Tyronn Lue was in cruise control for 4 years straight up. He had Kyrie, Kevin Love, and LeBron James.
What do you need to do?
So do you think sometimes, like such as in this case, that star players' performance can kind of overglorify the performance of a coach?
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you have
Look at what's his name on the Heat. What's that dude's name? He was like never a coach before, and they like
Spoelstra?
Patrick. Eric
Spoelstra.
Spoelstra.
He's actually pretty decent.
He's not bad.
He
though.
turned out.
He's
He turned out
decent.
okay. He
Yeah.
got, but like
I think one great example of that situation was Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Because I think I could have coached that Celtics team and won.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Well, I think anybody can coach a team if you have LeBron on your team, and they mesh well with your teammates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
So
you,
it's like,
LeBron's telling him to like who he's telling GM everybody to pick up and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
We got a great team here.
So I'll just be collecting a check the entire time. That's what I'd be doing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you see that in football too. Like, I think Peyton Manning's last year. So like the season he was injured in Indy, I guess they went like 0-14 or something like that. Like they lost 14 straight and they actually won their last 2. You know, but it was kind of just going back to that whole idea like Peyton Manning really runs that team. I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
I mean, the year before they won 12 games. I think they went to the AFC Championship and lost. Year after, he's out the whole year, 14 straight losses. You know, coach is gone on game
Sometimes
15.
you can have the opposite effect too. I remember when Kobe was playing and he was injured and he was out. Sometimes the Lakers would step up and
Ball out.
ball out.
Yeah, and you had yeah,
Sometimes.
exactly.
But that also
now
gives,
with Dwight Howard.
well, no, not Dwight Howard. But I think that gives other players who are being overshined by players like that an opportunity to go ahead and show what they really have.
Definitely. I think that's fair. And in other news on sports,
Pusha
we
T
had
owns 40% of
base-
the Arby's jingle. I just wanted to reiterate.
what is the Arby's jingle? I don't even know the jingle.
got the
dun,
beef.
dun, dun. We got the meats.
Oh, meats, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How does he own that jingle?
He made that jingle.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah. He also made the McDonald's jingle apparently.
But they
Which-
got paid $500,000.
What's the McDonald's jingle? How's that one go?
Ba-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it.
Dude,
He
I
Don't
could
sue us, McDonald's.
I could do that, bro.
Yeah.
We could all do that. How does he make a career like, going to a major corporation like, hey, this is what I do. I make
'Cause he
jingles.
prob-
I got a few samples.
Look,
for
I
you.
have a rap career, but it's not doing as great as my
Here we
jingle.
go.
So
Here we go. You and these jabs.
I'm just saying.
It's like you look back like on time, and you're watching like a movie because Christmas is around the corner. You see all those like weird Christmas music. Next thing you know, you're watching Arnold Schwarzenegger run. Like, hey, how did this even come on TV? It's Jingle All the Way. You look at the executive producers like, what? It's Pusha T. It's like, but he was only 6. The whole movie, just because there's a jingle in it. Made the whole-
Oh my God.
We're gonna have Arnold Schwarzenegger beat Turbo Man. It's like, it's a smart 6-year-old. We can definitely move with this. Definitely make some sales on this
Oh my
Christmas
God.
holiday classic.
Speaking of making money, did you know people on Seinfeld and Friends are still making money from that show?
Why wouldn't
Oh,
they,
for
bro?
sure.
Oh yeah,
For sure, dude.
They're forever
They
making
gon-
money off
That's
that.
a cult, man.
Reruns for life.
It's like ridiculous amounts of money too. Apparently,
We gotta get on. We gotta make our own show
we should. I always wanted my own reality
around
show.
the bush.
Fireside.
Fireside or around the bush? We'll vote on it.
I like around the bush.
I like around the bush.
We are literally around bushes right now.
Yeah, that's really.
I like
trees.
Punch him in the stomach.
What?
Punch him in the throat. Punching girls in the throat.
No.
Dot, metaphorically.
Long pause.
I think that's a great book title. Punch him in the throat.
I don't think any kind of physical harm towards a woman should be in our title.
I'm not saying harm a woman. I'm saying metaphorically.
Why,
punch him in the
dude?
throat.
Why every time we got like this is why we only have less than 100 followers right now.
We're not family friendly. Sorry, guys.
No, that's not.
First we talk about Hitler and.
Dude, don't put this on me.
No. We all talked about this.
No, that was all you. Nobody brought that up.
Hey, we didn't talk about
just
Hitler.
because I like to play devil's advocate here. Don't throw me under the bus.
I mean, it's kind of why you're here. We like it.
All right, the last piece is I guess the World Series is going on. Has anyone been watching that?
No.
Solomon, you sound like you had something to say about it. I don't watch baseball because
Neither do I.
It was
the most
alright.
boring sports to watch.
it really is.
I did watch.
Dude, there's guys that are so out of shape.
like 45, a beer belly,
like
just still
hitting
in
it.
there, making
No,
hundreds
but I
of
think
millions
that's
of
probably
dollars.
It's
the
just
best
like an
part-
excuse to hang out with guys and grow a beard. That's all I think it is. Like
No, I think that's the
baseball's
best part
become.
about that sport, though. It's
The
like you could be mad out of shape and still kill it. You know, it's all a mental game, really, because you're not really running much.
I want you to really.
What?
When Kaepernick had the option to go to baseball instead of football, he made the wrong choice.
Oh.
He should have gone baseball. He'd still have a career.
What did he play?
He had the option of going pro baseball or pro football.
I know, but like,
A lot
what
of
did
football
he
players have
play
had
in
that
baseball?
option.
Like, what was his position?
Probably pitcher. His pitches are like even in football are ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, so final question of the night before we get to Chris O's theme song,
Oh God.
which apparently is not share, believe.
You disrespected me.
Put some respect on my name.
Disrespected me. Go
It's a
ahead.
great song. It's a classic.
It is a classic,
That
dude.
was
I
like
mean,
the
early
Millennium
2000s,
song.
dude.
Yeah.
You cannot not have been banging
That was like up there with like Daft Punk. Y'all remember that?
I love that
Which
song.
Daft Punk song?
The very first one.
Which
Around
one?
the World?
No.
Big Good
One
Fest?
more time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
That was
like
they
one
were
of
the
those-
chain smokers of the early 2000s America.
They were.
These kids don't know nothing about Daft Punk except Pharrell. That's all they know. Oh, that's the guys with the Pharrell. No, they've been around, bro. Before they started wearing spaceship outfits. Okay, final question on sports before we get to Chris O's theme song. Golf.
What, golf?
The question asked since the dawn of time: is golf a sport?
It's on ESPN, so yes. I think so.
You think golf's a sport?
It's on ESPN, so yeah.
No.
Okay. So bowling's a sport too,
It's on
and
ESPN.
spelling bees are.
It's on there. So is poker.
All right, I'm gonna say. Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't want to offend people. I'm a bow out of this one.
There's a whole lot of money in golf.
I'm a bow out of this one. Kong, is this is golf a what do you think? Is golf a sport?
I think it's a drinking sport.
Is golf a sport, Chris?
Give me a golf,
Golf
not
is
bowling.
just, I don't know, bro.
Do you know how many people drink beer while they golf? There's people who work at the bars where their job is to follow them in a golf cart and serve them beer.
I mean,
Yeah.
amateurs,
sure.
not pros.
Well, yeah,
sure, not
obviously.
pros.
Well,
But I
some.
mean, okay,
I
even
mean, I
amateurs.
drink-
Okay, even for amateur sports,
I mean, I
how many
drink when
times
I
do you go
play
see
ball.
at LVAC or basketball court people drinking beer while playing ball?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, not if you're playing intensely.
Oh,
All right.
I really turn up when I drink.
Let me bring this back.
Okay.
Let me keep it a buck with y'all, America.
Oh, yeah. I like you using my lingo. Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
All right, America's been waiting for this all day. We're approaching an hour on the show, and we have to hear Chris O's theme song. So it has a kind of unique intro. It's kind of violent. I'm not a big fan of it, but let me start the song. Oh, hold on. What's wrong? I think we're having some technical difficulties with the song. Bear with me 1 second, America. Okay, here we go. Oh, but that's aggressive, Chris.
Yeah, nah, look. Look. Oh, wow. You gotta love Uncle Charlie. That's Yo, you gotta love Uncle Charlie, man.
Well, I think Uncle Charlie is dead now.
Hey, we just gotta make sure we don't get no copyright issues.
Okay. Oh my God, they're fighting.
Hey, Uncle Charlie, man, that's my theme song right there. It's for
This
my
can't
time.
be your theme song.
Dude, oh my God,
life,
are they really doing that in the bathroom? That's disgusting. Oh my God.
All right, we get it.
Hey, man, we
When did
enjoyed it.
R2 get in this? What? Was that in Star Wars?
Yeah, much love. Yo,
That can't be your theme song.
whatever, man.
That can't be your theme. You can't have a Go Happy theme song when you're constantly frowning.
Oh my!
You're laughing right now with the frown on your face.
Oh my goodness, America!
I'm done. Hey, yo, we appreciated y'all tuning in for the podcast today. And we
What
are
were you saying,
done.
Chris?
We're done. Yo, much love.
All right, thank you, America. Did you?
Jesus. Thank you all. This is the No Restrictions Radio. Until next time, good night, everyone. All right, Doug, enough. Enough, Doug.
Okay, so play the first.